Start, let's take a look at the dollar. Do you have a very interesting day today, of course. FOMC in the evening, or at least evening UK time. And we do have CAD interest rate as well. Do not forget that. Then pound tomorrow, and the yen the day after on Friday as well. So a very interesting end to the week this week. But as we start, DXY really did sell off a cliff this week and really made the direction pretty clear to us. Really strong move, especially yesterday as well. Really commanding candle breaking through the lows. So at this point, it just looks like price is likely to continue the trend, likely to continue what we've been doing since the start of the year pretty much. I'm pretty sure we're trading at the highs here, Jan 2025. And that trend simply is just continuing. At one point, I was favoring a counter trend move. I was looking to see if price can form a higher low and perhaps see another swing back to highs because we were showing signs of fatigue, but we never really got that momentum going and price just consolidated in this area. So I was waiting for price to give me that commanding breakout to tell us that, okay, the momentum stepped in, possibly now we could see the higher low. Never happened. Price was really flat. And of course, we have broken to the downside. So especially intraday, I think the opportunities are pretty clear because this is the low. I'm expecting price to take out, which we haven't done yet. So there's still opportunity. There's still direction for not pound USD, for DXY. So in terms of an opportunity, it would be nice to get a pullback into an area like this. Now, will we get a pullback there? Possibly. Again, as a trader, it's all about just being ready for the opportunity. Sometimes the pullback will be very shallow and the market will just keep dropping or keep flying. Sometimes you'll get deeper pullbacks, more complex pullbacks. You're going to have to maneuver around those opportunities as well. This would be nice. We have been very consistent with these lower highs. Starting back here, we had a high there, another. So it would be nice to catch, let's say, another swing high, coming back to retest prior structure, and hopefully a new swing through the lows there. So that would be like a really optimal opportunity on like a 4-hour or hourly time frame. In terms of like a 15-minute chart, momentum is clearly bearish right now, and looks like we're going through a bit of a counter trend line correction here. So a nice opportunity could either be waiting for a strong break of that and entries on the counter trend line break, taking advantage of momentum stepping into the market, or perhaps maybe a push back to highs, maybe dropping even lower, trying to catch a reaction at the highs there to anticipate a move down. Of course, a bit more of an aggressive opportunity, but you have the expectation that the trend is in your favor and price should reject highs if we can see confirmations to back that up, of course. But yeah, it would be nice for a bigger pullback on dollar, but really bearish, and I wouldn't be surprised if we just go and take out the lows this week, even today, especially with FOMC coming out. I do think we'll see some more weakness on the dollar. Again, the reaction could be interesting though. We could see FOMC come out and then a bullish reaction to that and then weakness step in. Or of course, we might just see the market potentially just plummet. But yeah, I'm pretty bearish on the dollar. EURUSD, however, I'm not so interested anymore. The price has just seen some new highs here, so I'm not so interested with taking advantage of a trade anymore. I liked Euro coming into the week as we were steadily creating higher lows. I was kind of waiting for price to show some momentum, really break resistance, and we did that, I think on Monday, Start off the week really bullish. So I liked how pound USD, I keep saying pound USD because I'm trading it. I liked how Euro USD was getting, but the only thing I didn't like about Euro, which I mentioned yesterday, was risk to reward, and the opportunity is just a little bit minimal because we've got highs right above us. So in terms of pullback opportunities, there's not a lot of room to operate in, which is why I was liking pound USD, which we'll take a look in a second. But there's not a lot of room to operate in. And now that price has made a new high, am I still interested to keep buying Euro USD? No, not really. We've done our job. We've seen the new swing high. Prices create new highs. Now I'm kind of backing away from Euro and kind of just waiting for development with this one. Is the market going to now have a bigger pullback? Is the market going to continue this momentum? That's kind of what I'm waiting to find out with Euro. I would still say I'm bullish because momentum's up. We're still seeing higher highs and higher lows. Price could still very much retrace here, bounce and continue. But I wouldn't be so eager to jump into the market straight away. I'll wait for things to settle down, especially with FOMC in the evening. Wait for things to settle, see what price does, and how we do continue. But yeah, if you are looking for euro opportunities, I'll probably wait for a pullback here. Personally, not the biggest fan because of where we're trading. As for pound USD, I did jump into a long position on the 50-minute chart. This is my first kind of live pound, well, not live pound USD, live 50-minute trade I've done in a long time. I'm doing some experimenting at the moment with the 50-minute chart and the hourly as well, particularly on the major pairs. And yeah, we're going to see how that gets going. But this is a trade I took this morning about an hour ago, or half an hour ago. I took it 9:30. Was that 9:30? Yeah, 9:30. So yeah, so about half an hour ago. So I entered this long position looking for a push back to highs. I'm very bullish on pound USD. I like what I'm seeing from a top-down perspective. Market looks like it's had a retest of this prior high, basically looking at the continuation of this trend. I'm very bearish on USD as well, so that should help pound USD push higher. I do think at the very least we'll see a push back to these highs here. So that's my kind of swing bias for pound. And now that we've made the big break of structure, which is price clearing resistance here, that's the key thing I was waiting for, price to break through resistance. Now we've got the green light to actually start buying pound and anticipating a move back into resistance. So I've got a couple of opportunities I'm looking at. I was keeping an eye on this 50-minute trade here if we were going to have a shallow pullback and a continuation. So I've hopped into that position. But if we were to have a bigger pullback, I also like this area here. Of course, the retest, the prior resistance. You've got a nice kind of demand zone, price consolidated, then ripped to the upside. I do think if you can see a retest of this area, this also would be a smart place for a buy. I don't want to see price come below this area. If price does come below, I'll probably rethink the bias or just become a bit more neutral. As of right now, momentum's here, seeing strength to the upside. As long as we can hold 1.356, I'll be bullish. So if this trade does fail, I'll look for re-entries down here. But my expectation is a push back into resistance for pound dollar. As for dollar CAD, really bearish on as well, but don't really have much of an opportunity just yet with this one because we are coming into a bit of a brick wall right now. Again, I do expect this to eventually come back to lows. Looks like somewhat of a head and shoulder pattern. Left, head, right shoulder. So I'm really liking the market structure. And I'm also liking where we're trading. You can see on the weekly chart, price is at major resistance once, twice, a third time. Looks like we're rejecting a fourth time. So once price breaks support, or if price breaks support, of course we're not guaranteed to do that, but if price breaks support, I do think we have a pretty clear path back down to these lows here. So that is very much the plan with dollar CAD, a push back to the swing low. I think we can go a lot further than that, but at least for now, we'll talk about that support level. So I am pretty bearish on dollar CAD. I like the opportunity, just not much of an opportunity right now because of course we are coming into support. So I don't want to be selling into that. But if we can break through or maybe have a deeper pullback and maybe form another lower high, that's something that could interest me. But yeah, we're probably still a couple days or a few days away from that forming. Aussie dollar, not really interested in this pair. Of course, on the USD pairs, trending more or less well to the upside, but I'm not so enthusiastic about trading it because, again, similar to euro, it's just taking out some major highs. So I'm not really interested in buying the market once this has happened. We'll come into some resistance applied to our left there. I anticipate a pullback. Not so keen on continuously looking to buy Aussie dollar at this moment in time. So yeah, I do expect more upside for Aussie dollar. I do expect more downside for USD itself. But is this a pair I want to keep looking to trade? No, not really. I'd rather trade pound. I mean, it's come back to a nice area. Relatively nice level of demand. Strong push to the upside. We might find support and maybe rally on a 50-minute chart. So that's something intraday you could look at. But in terms of room, in terms of a big swing, I'm not quite convinced with this one. We've already seen a big swing. If anything, I'm more interested in a big pullback before we see some more upside. And the USD is interesting, however, because this one, although still trading in resistance supply, you can see this is our previous swing high, which gave us this low. I do think there's a lot of upside for New Zealand dollar. I do think price could potentially come back to resistance here, but we do need to get that break of structure. And if price can get that, take out highs, I do like what I'm seeing there. I think the buys will look really good. I don't want to be buying New Zealand dollar right now. Again, I do think price is likely to break this area, but again, not the best time to be positioning yourself long because we could always see a push down first. Price rejects supply resistance. This is our former swing high, so this is definitely an area which buyers could be looking to take profits, sellers entering the market. Just not the best place to be finding clean buying opportunities. So what I'm waiting for is the break of structure and then pullbacks after that. And yeah, hopefully we can follow the trend. And as for gold and silver, well, pretty much same old. We have had a bit of a dip on gold, and I think we've had a bit of dip on silver as well. We'll take a look in a second, but this is still a very smart place for our buy. This bearish move is not giving us any red flags in terms of, oh, be careful, gold's about to top out. Maybe it is, but there's nothing there that would give me a significant sign that that's about to happen. The market's not going to just completely see bullish candle after bullish candle. Even with this aggressive trend, it's going to have some dips, and you don't want to be deceived by that. As long as price doesn't really break structure or show any major selling pressure, like if we were to get a big candle like this, okay, that would be a bit of a sign. But these are smallish, medium-ish size candles, and the market still looks relatively healthy. So a retest of this area, I do think it's a smart place for a buy. Basically, this range here, we can focus your efforts a bit more on that area to be a bit more specific. But yeah, looking for a pushback to highs. I think we just hit 3,700, so it looks like price is reacting to a big psychological level. I still do see room to 3,750, which is a pretty big psych level as well. So yeah, still very bullish on gold. And as for silver, yeah, a bit more of an aggressive move there for silver though, so I would be a bit more cautious with this one. Again, I wouldn't start worrying too much about the trend. I would still say, if you look at the bigger picture, the market is still very bullish. I mean, we could drop all the way down here and the market's still healthy bullish. We're still respecting even this trend line, which has a really nice steep slant to it. So we could see a move there and the market's still bullish. But what I would say is silver is having a bit more of an aggressive move than gold, and not really nice and corrective. It's not slow. So I would be a bit more cautious with buying silver. I still like the consolidation here, a similar setup to gold, but I would want to see some really strong rejections to talk me into a trade. Otherwise, I'd rather focus on gold or just kind of step back a little bit, because this is a bit aggressive. Because at some point, gold and silver is going to have a bigger retracement. Maybe it is now, it could be, but I'm still holding that bullish bias for now. And there is some nice buying opportunities should we have a deeper pullback. I quite like this area here. The retest of the high, retest the trend line. That'll also be a nice swing trade. But again, we're probably about a week or two away from that opportunity. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the USD pairs going into the big one, FOMC, this afternoon. I do expect to see some more weakness. I'm pretty bearish on the dollar, so that's kind of my plan and the direction I want to attack in.